Near, 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 rip a hole in the sun. Welcome to Cum Paude. Why would you cum soft when you can cum louder? Yeah.
Welcome to Cum Paude. Cum Laude. We're here in week 5. Right back at it. Getting a Paude out to you here on a Saturday. Hopefully get it out to you tonight. Uh, Gonna review the games as we always do. We'll do the fast 3 minutes. I'm going solo again today. Just trying to get content out there, not really coordinating with my co-host at all. Just making an executive decision to put this out here just to get it done because you just don't want to make people wait. You can't make them wait. Everybody's excited. We get that Thursday action, see who's getting points on the board to begin with, see how the rest of the week's going to shape out. Winners and losers, losers and winners. Let's get right into it. Fastest 3 minutes. So we had some really exciting games last week, but we had Doge City getting their first win of the year. They were able to hold on against John Wilkes Tooth, both going into Monday night with some action, but Jameer Gibbs locked it in over Calvin Ridley pretty much, making sure that this team does get that victory. First win. Only questionable decision here was going with Carson Steele. Not really questionable decision if you talk about the beginning of the week. It seemed like Carson was going to be the guy to go with, but Kareem Hunt ended up stealing the carries, and Carson with minus 0.9, something like that. Not going to be able to win if you're doing any of that action. So Doge City does get their first win, see if they can get on a roll here. Then we had the Hammy Hamfists taking down Laporta Potties. Josh Allen did not play very well against Baltimore, but Swift had a big game out of nowhere, and 6 out of 7 of the Hamfists skilled position players got a touchdown this week. So that always helps when people are scoring touchdowns. Potties, Jared Goff tried, even caught a touchdown, but not much of a supporting cast in there to be able to hang with the Hamfists who get a big win. They needed that one. They're 2-2. They're doing fine. No worries at all there. But they needed a big score out win like that one. Then we go to the reigning champ, the Medusas. This one was a little touch and go for a while going against the commissioner, the Sword Dicks out there. Looked like it was going to be relatively close all throughout Sunday, but then King Henry said, nah. Put up a big old score on Sunday night, stretched it open, and then Tony Pollard, insult to injury, ruined quite a few betting lays there with that trash touchdown, but just hammered it close with Henry Sunday night. And the Swords they keep getting beat up on. As 150 points got laid down on them in week 2, 170 points got laid down on them. The Swords, respectable week in the 110s kind of range, but decided on Deonta Foreman over top of Tajay Spears or Javonte Williams. A little bit of a question mark there. Wouldn't have mattered either way. Would not have mattered in this game, but you got to question some of that decision making. But yeah, Medusas keeps on rolling 4-0. Best Healthy Twins rubs one out, against ESPN. Nick Folk was really the hero. This was another close game that we were watching going into Monday night. Nick Folk just kicks a bunch of field goals against the Dolphins, gets that lead, and holds on to it. ESPN, unfortunately, losing Rashee Rice. Patrick Mahomes just decided didn't want to play with him anymore, so knocked his leg off. Brandon Cooks with an injury. Devin Singletary with an injury. Not looking good for the ESPNs, but hey, they made a trade move to try to get another running back in there, so we'll see how they hang this week going against John's Bussies. Healthy Twins gets the win. They go 2-2. Then we had the big shootout. We had the Cum Sales with the Talongals. Incredible action. Talongals had a chance to claw back. They had DeAndre Hopkins and Noah Fant going into Monday night. Cum Sales were locked in. They were done. They were at 135. Really great outing for the Cum Sales. Talons couldn't make it happen. They came up 4 points short, just weren't able to close the door, weren't able to get the win. They got a lot of help from Younghoe Koo and the Falcons, but just couldn't keep up with Sam Darnold, Nico Collins, Jamar Chase, already making that big impact for Cum Sales. So really good stuff there. But, hey, we get another game, unexpected outcome. John's Bussy gets a big win, puts up 130 points against Big Dak Energy of all teams. Didn't expect that upset going into this. Bussy is not happy about it as they are going for that first overall pick in 2025. But Jordan Love had different things to say Jaden Reed, Justice Hill, golly, $3 a fab, and just RB1 there. Really, but yeah, RB1, absolutely. Justice Hill is just playing really well. It's a good accoutrement there in the Ravens backfield. 49ers, you can't help that. So Bussy puts up 130, and look, Dak, Big Dak Energy wanted to make it happen. They tried to claw back. Kenneth Walker had an amazing game on Monday night. Amon Ra had a really good, solid game, but just wasn't enough. Brees Hall kind of let down. There were some decisions definitely left on the bench, which we've talked about every single year with this Big Dak Energy team. The depth on this team is so great that making those kind of flex spot decisions are tough. And this week, it definitely impacted. There was couple of receivers left on the bench that had good scoring weeks, and that could have been the difference. You're obviously not going to sit Brees Hall in any regard, but there were some other decisions that were made that could have changed the outcome of this game. It might have made it a little bit closer, but I think it was 130 to 110 that the Bussies gets that win, and we no longer have a winless team in the league, so that's pretty awesome. Go Bussy, go! Finally, we have the nail biter of the week. Dame Judi Dench's going up against Genocide. This game was separated by about half a point going into Monday night. It's DK Metcalf and Jameson Williams going up against Geno Smith, the namesake for Genocide. And this went back and forth. DK is getting catches, then fumbles, and Geno is just throwing the ball incredibly well all night long. Geno pops one out to the tight end, takes the lead, gets 6 points that way, gets a 6-point lead on the Dames. It looks like everything was going to be, kind of set in stone, done from that point on. But the very next possession, Jameson Williams catches a nice slant and takes it to the house for 13 and a half points. It was a 70-yard touchdown. And the Dames takes the lead back. But Geno just kept clawing back, kept throwing, getting yardage, just bits and bits at a time. He'd get a scramble and get a point here and there. DK did catch the 2-point conversion. It would have erased for both sides. He did catch it. I don't know why they didn't review it. It was a catch. Absolutely. I don't know. Do 2-point conversions count as receptions? That's something we should look at for the rules committee, but it didn't matter because they missed that call. But DK did do enough to catch some passes to get the reception points and the yardage over Geno, but it really came down to the last drive. Geno had the opportunities on 2 consecutive drives for the Seahawks to get the points that were needed, and ended up throwing an interception for his last play to get the -2, and the Dames ends up winning by 3 points. Hell of a Monday night. I was sweating more than anything. Got the win. It was a big win for the franchise, but hats off to you, Genocides. Your team on paper might not look super strong, but they've proven they can put up points and they can compete. So watch out to the rest of the league. Genocide could be a spoiler, just as well as John's Pussy. Let's move on to week 5. What are we looking at this week? We're just going to jump right in because it's on the top here for me is the Dames at the Medusas. 4-0 Medusas, Dames 3-1. The champ is favored, but they are a little bit bye week hurt right now with Jalen Hurts on a bye, starting Gardner Minshew, and Tony Pollard, that fourth head of the four-headed rushing attack, is on bye as well. It's not a huge hit to this team. They've got just enough to fill in those gaps. We'll see how Gardner Minshew does play. That dude is capable of slinging and getting a lot of points. And then the Dames, no Dobbins, no Devontae Adams, no Jameson Williams. Definitely reaching into the bench this week to see what they can do. Again, Medusas is favored. I think the Medusas does come out and they do get this victory to go stretch to 5-0. Then we got John Wilkes Tooth and Genocide. Both teams taking some tough losses last week, trying to get a bounce back. Wilkes has the edge, but Geno has shown that he can put up points and he's not afraid to throw the ball. He's having a great year there in Seattle. So there's a chance that this team can score. There are some good players out there. Unfortunately, Malik Neighbors has been ruled out. So you're going to miss that little bit. I think Kyron Williams, though, is going to continue his strong play this week, put up some good points for the Wilkes Tooth. And really, it's a lot of Pittsburgh players going this week, and that could be good. It could be, but we've got 2 Pittsburgh receivers, Pittsburgh defense, Pittsburgh kicker. I'd say the kicker is going to get you more points than any of those other players. I think Wilkes is just going to be able to edge this one out. Better, fuller roster this week, so we're going with the Wilkes tooth. Then we got Laporta's Potties going at Best Healthy Twins. Kirko Chains already in with 42 points. Huge game from old Kirko, 500 yards. Holy cow, what a game that was. Very exciting to watch. Bye week fill-ins as always, but Potties has some high ceiling players on their team. So I think this crew with Garrett Wilson, with Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith knows that is showing that they can catch the ball and do some things there in Seattle. No Goff this week, but we've got Justin Fields who could show us the legs, do some Jaden Daniels impressions there in Pittsburgh. So this team's got potential to put up big points. And, Healthy Twins on the other side going with 3 Miami players. We've got Mostert. We've got, I think, Jonnu Smith in that tight end slot, and then Jaden Waddle. Tough lining up some Miami pass catchers there after we saw what happened last week. So I'm giving the edge to Laporta Potties, going with that high ceiling action with some of those top tier skill players, thinking maybe get some 20-point action games out of those guys, Laporta Potties, and get them for the win. Then we got Minnesota Sword Dicks, Kamish going against Big Dak Energy. 2 teams, again, not unexpected loss for Sword Dicks going against Medusa, but very unexpected loss there for Big Dak with John's Bussy. Both off of tough losses. This is a dead even shoot right now is what it's looking like. This is a money line pick 'em for any of you bettors out there. The Dax is obviously more well-rounded, but as we just said, it's tough sometimes to set that flex and get it right each time, but I think they do it this week. I think Big Dak does edge this one out. I think he's edging the commissioner right now, edging him to completion. And, Tyreek's just a liability right now. You'd love to see Tyreek and Justin Jefferson just going all in, and then Olave being added. That should be this monstrous 3-headed wide receiver attack. But Tyreek, just with no great quarterback play, it's hard to say what you're going to get out of them. And then this team just kind of struggles at running back. There's no real RB1. There should be, if you look at some of the names between Najee Harris and Javonte Williams, guys like that should be doing much better than they are, but they're just not having breakout moments for this team. So I'm giving Big Dak the edge to take this one home. Then we got ESPN at the Bussy. So the Bussy gets their win. They didn't want that win, and they're making a point this week to set their lineup such that it is the minimal projected points available. There's a lot of discussion happening, on the dark web about what you should be allowed to do when it comes to tanking to get that first overall pick in the next draft. And, a little bit of a consensus decision was if you have projected points, that's somebody that's going to be on the field, that's somebody that's got potential to score points. That's fine. You're not putting people that are out. You're not putting people with bye weeks, injuries, anything like that out there on the roster. You're not putting backup quarterbacks out there and saying, oh, they might get it. It might be an injury. That guy could score. You're not doing anything like that. Putting a team that has the potential to score points. End of story. That's what we're going with. ESPN really hurt by the injuries. They're struggling. Patrick Mahomes is kind of struggling, but they made an effort this week. They went out, they got Alexander Madison, which, might not be a huge deal just because it's the Raiders. It looks like Madison has just taken over the lead role over Zamir White, who's just not been playing well at all for the Raiders. So that's a little bit of upside, but we're looking at maybe set the over-under for total points in this matchup at 100. Between these two teams. I think maybe it's a 60-40 ESPN. ESPN's going to get the win. Bussy, it's okay. ESPN's going to get the win this week. It's going to happen. No jinxing. And we got ham fist at the Cum sales. 2 teams that had nice big wins last week. Both teams scored good points, 135, 120 plus 122 for Hammy. Neither of them are really hurt by buys, either team so much this week. You got to keep your eye on Brian Robinson there with the commies. It's looking like he's questionable, game time decision kind of thing. So maybe it goes Eckler. But if Brian Robinson plays, very good news there for the Hammies. I think they're going to need every point that they can get here against the Cum sales. The Cums already played Falcons running backs, going with that 2-headed monster between Algier and Bijan Robinson. Only put up 13 points between the two. Probably had a lot more potential, especially with scoring the way it was. It just didn't happen. Hammy's going to get this win. Hammy's got a stronger roster out there right now. There's potential. We saw it last week. Jamar Chase, Nico Collins put up points with Cum sales. But I think Hammy's just Josh Allen's going to bounce back. He's not going to have the week that he had last week. You're going to get a 20-plus performance out of Josh Allen this week. Really, for me, it's does Brian Robinson play? If Brian Robinson is out, then I think Cum sales got a chance here. But, the Cum is waiting for Jonathan Brooks. That's the big kicker here for Cum. They got a huge win last week. That was awesome. But going Algier and Bijan week over week is just not going to cut it for this team. When Jonathan Brooks comes back, this team has the ability to finally flip it into gear after being in the bottom for as long as they have and playing the roster game the way that they did. So waiting for Jonathan Brooks there for the Cums. Hammy gets the win this week. Last one we got on the docket is the brother matchup. This is a big one here. It's the Talon Goals at Doge City. Doge City is in with a hell of a Thursday night. Flopped Darnell Mooney in there, who goes off. Drake London had a really good game. Getting out of the gate there with a lot of points. And, the Talons got some good action out of Young Wei Koo. Getting after it. Doge is not projected to win, I think, 15, 20 points right now. Obviously, there's firepower on the Talon Goals team. Talon Goals are a favorite of this production crew. We've spoken about them before. We think that they are the team to beat. They did get beat last week. I think they get beat again this week. I think Doge, they got Jaden Daniels is just crushing it right now. Ramondre Stevenson is coming back. It's been announced as the lead back in New England. So some good potential there. And unfortunately for Talon, a bye week hit with Saquon. Saquon is on a bye, and you see Rico Dowdle for the Cowboys going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. That's a tough one. You got to do what you got to do when bye weeks happen. So it is what it is. But I think based on what happened Thursday night, if I was looking at this matchup before Thursday night, I would be going Talon Goals all day long. But Thursday night, getting out to that big, huge lead, I think that Doge City, the older brother, takes this one down and delivers the second consecutive loss to Talon Goals. Second consecutive win for Doge City, going from 0-3, going to be up at 2-3 here at the end of week 5. Whew. All right. There it was. All in consecutive order. Had those notes there written up. Excited for a good week. I don't want to go without saying the Madison trade was not the only trade that happened. An hour and a half, 2 hours after that one gets announced, there's a blockbuster trade between Minisgrody Swordicks and the Cum Sales for two guys who have already forgot their names. It was Clyde Edwards-Helaire, more like CEH, more like MEH. He's so meh, which we'll see how that goes. The Chiefs love their CEH. They got Kareem Hunt. He's doing well, but maybe they decided that Clyde it could be the answer there while Pacheco rehabs for Elijah Moore. Top prospect coming out of college, just hasn't been able to put it together in the NFL and on a Cleveland team where he would be kind of buried in receivership behind Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy. Even trade, it's fine. No big deal there, but can't go without mentioning trades happening because we love trades here on Cum Paude. Trades are the lifeblood of the league. Thank you for watching tonight. This was fun. I'm excited to go to Doge City Fest, drink some beer here with the boys. I will have already done that by the time you're watching this. So yeah, have a great Saturday. Have a greater Sunday. And good luck to all the teams out there. Good night, Fermi.
Thank you for listening to the official podcast of the Public Honors College Fantasy Football League. Cum quickly, cum often, and cum loud.